What's going on YouTube? BABAAAYY here, and oh my god, Netflix Daredevil, wow, they did season 3 of Daredevil was just something spectacular. It was amazing. I enjoyed it. That's my review done. Basically, you know I loved it. But now let's get into the nitty-gritty of this, because oh my god, I love season 3 of Daredevil. Now, the Netflix shows have been kind of a little bit more missed and hit for me, you know. Like Luke Cage, season 1, I was rearing to go up, excited for it. It's going to be the American Black Panther, you know, whatnot. Watched season 1, it wasn't that great. I thought it was kind of boring. I liked Iron Back, I like Cottonmouth, but it just wasn't that exciting for me. I actually liked Iron Fist a little bit better, but it was still quite boring. I was just pissed that Iron Fist wouldn't wear his mask. I kept waiting for references to like other MCU shows with Luke Cage and Iron Fist. Kept waiting. That's all I was waiting for. I didn't really care too hard about the storyline. They were decent, they were interesting, but there were so many draggy moments. So even in season 2 of Daredevil, there was a few draggy moments, but it was still really good. I still rate Punisher, Daredevil season 1 and 2 above everything else. Jessica Jones season 1 was really good as well. David Tennant, that's up there. So Jessica Jones season 2 was really boring. The first 6 episodes were terrible. Trash, to be honest. You've seen my review on it. Those last 6 episodes were really interesting. I was really intrigued in the last 6 episodes of Jessica Jones. But because the first 6 were trash, the whole show wasn't that level. But my god, this is Netflix return to form with Daredevil season 3. Every bit of this was awesome. There was times where it dragged a little bit, but 90% of the time, or 95% of the time, it was just fast-paced. I was interested. I cared about what the characters were doing. I cared about the story. It was so good. Now let's get right into it. Daredevil season 3 is based on the plots of Born Again, the comic written by Frank Miller, I believe, and Guardian Devil, which was written by Kevin Smith. Matt Murdock is basically, like as the title says, born again, and he's like trying to rediscover himself as Daredevil. And in the show version, he has a building crushed on him in the end of Defenders, and he's trying to recover, and we see him at the beginning or at the end of the Defenders with a nun who's tending to him. Everybody thinks Matt Murdock is dead at this point, including Foggy and Karen. So we start off into season 3 of Daredevil, and we find that Karen and Foggy think Matt is dead, but they're not sure. And we get into the really cool characters and a really cool story. Kingpin is at it again, and let's get into the characters of this, because one of my favourite characters, not really a character in the comics, but it was probably a lot of people's favourite characters, Agent Nadeem. He was just the everyman guy. He was just the guy that didn't really know what was going on, and you just see Wilson Fisk manipulating him and just like forcing a good man. It was literally kind of like the Dark Knight, how the Joker turned Harvey Dent into evil, except Nadeem didn't go evil. This is what would happen if Harvey Dent didn't succumb to the Joker. So Nadeem was resisting as much as he could, and spoiler alert, he ended up losing his life for it. And he was such a really cool, interesting character. I loved how he's the arrogant agent at the beginning that didn't listen, and before you know it, he's overwhelmed with the Kingpin's like just intelligence and badassness of his manipulation skills. And yeah, Agent Nadeem was such a cool like character. He was kind of like us. We were basically like, if we were playing this game as a video game, I know we'd want to control Daredevil, but we'd probably be controlling Agent Nadeem. But yeah, he was a cool character, nice diverse character as well. That's how you should do diverse character. I loved how his wife, we thought that she was like an idiot that just believed all this crap that they were saying about him, but it turns out she was actually really intelligent. I love that little twist. There was lots of little interesting twists and turns in this. Such a good season. Anyway, let's go into Sister Maggie, Daredevil's mum. She was a practicing nun when she was in her teens, and she ended up getting with Matt Murdock's dad, and you know, she broke her vows and all this kind of stuff happened. I actually forgot completely that in the comics his mum was a nun, so that was a nice little shocking. So if you don't know too much about the storyline, it's really exciting when you find, it's really like interesting and shocking, like when you find out, oh my god, that's Matt's mum. It's like really cool. It's like watching a proper series where you have no idea what's going to happen. Like, I know this is a proper series as well, but you know, like with these Marvel shows and Marvel films and stuff, it's easy to know everything about these characters from the comics. But stuff like that if you didn't know the comics, is really cool, nice reveal, especially since it's actually in the comics, not just something they made up. Something that they did make up was Bullseye, his backstory rather, not the character. The character's in the comics. His backstory is completely made up for the show, which is really cool, interesting. Because in the comic book version, Kingpin actually uses a psychopath to dress up as Daredevil, and Bullseye is a psychopath in the show. He's not really a psychopath in the comics, though you'd think he was the way he dresses, but he's not a psychopath in the comics. But they kind of merged those two characters together, so it was really interesting dynamic there. I really enjoyed Bullseye, and he was just such a badass character. I love the way they built up on his backstory and how like Kingpin was reading about him, and we could see like physically, like rather than telling, they were showing us, and that's how you're supposed to do it. Marvel, Netflix, they learn. Rather than just telling us crap where we just get bored and listen to people just talking, we're being shown Bullseye's backstory, and it was really cool. We're seeing like how he interacts with the therapist, and the therapist was really cool as well. Like there was points where Bullseye wanted to kill her. He was like, I really want to kill you for dying. And then she was just like, why? But why though? She was just like so cool. Like in most TV shows, when a bad guy character or a psychotic character is threatening like a person that's trying to reason with them, they suddenly be like, oh my God, they start getting scared. Especially if they're female characters, they start getting scared and they run off. But she was just tough, and she was just like, why do you want to kill me though? Tell me why. Tell me, like, she just like proper stand up to him, and he really appreciated that. She became his North Star. When she died, Bullseye needed North Stars to take over her role. Otherwise, he just goes back into his psychotic mode, which is such cool writing. I loved that character, Bullseye. And yeah, so obviously Wilson Fisk becomes his new North Star. And then the whole thing about where he nearly had another North Star, that he was like on the fine line between becoming a good person by finding a North Star, which was, I can't remember her name now, I think her name is Claire or something. I can't remember the other girl that was at the suicide hotline. And obviously Wilson Fisk, the evil version of the North Star. And because Wilson Fisk killed the good version, he became evil. Such, again, great storytelling, great writing, great characterization. Such a good season. And we got Foggy, who was being like the moral compass of this whole thing. No matter what Fisk was doing, he was the one set. Even Matt Murdock fell. Matt Murdock was like, you know what, I've got to kill this guy, I've got to kill this motherfucker right now. But Foggy was like, no, we're gonna stick to our guns. I'm sticking to season 1 Foggy and season 1 Matt Murdock, where we don't just kill. You know, Karen was up for killing as well. She acted like she didn't, but she wanted to kill as well. But yeah, I loved that Foggy was the heart and the soul, and he kept it straight till the end, and I loved that. You actually kind of hating on Foggy a little bit. You're like, Foggy, what are you doing, mate? Like, seriously, at this point, we've got to kill Kingpin. Everybody and their mothers are thinking Kingpin's got to die at home. But then Foggy says one thing. I can't remember, like, if it's the last episode or the second. Everything's all a blur when you watch it all at once. But Foggy said something really interesting towards the final episodes. He said, Matt, after he kills Kingpin or Wilson Fisk, after Matt kills him, he will no longer be the Matt that we know and love. He would have been forced to break his morals and break his spirit and his beliefs. But based on how Matt acts, based on how they've characterized Matt Murdock since season 1, he's very like emotional, he's very into his beliefs, and his whole personality is structured on his belief system, you know. And I know there's some people would argue that's not a good way to live your life or whatever, but who are you to say Matt Murdock's a good person? That's who he is, you know, that's all he knows. So if Matt Murdock was to break his belief system and kill somebody and break his morals like that, he's no longer the Matt Murdock we know. And that just blew me away. That was brilliant writing. It made me, that's how you write. It made me go from, it made me do a massive 180 from thinking, you know what, you should just kill Wilson Fisk at this point, to realizing, yeah, you can't kill Wilson Fisk. Matt Murdock can't do it because that's not right. Like, that's not his morals. And I was like, wow, that was believable. It wasn't some bullshit. It actually made a lot of sense. And then, of course, we could talk about Karen, and she had her own episode in this. And everybody will probably think that episode 10, the Karen episode, I think it was episode 10, the Karen episode And I was like, oh no, but then I watched it and I was actually really interested in it. Karen still stay fucking up. Like a lot of people are saying she was better this season. I agree she was a bit better this season, but she still stay fucking up. She gets everybody killed. She got Ben Urich killed in season 1. She killed Wesley. Like obviously that was meant to happen. Like we want her to kill Wesley in terms of like good versus bad, but Wesley was such a good character. Like he was such a well-written, interesting character. So it made me hate her even more because she killed off one of the best characters in the show. And yeah, so Karen's always been a kind of a love-hate, mostly hate character because she's just so annoying and she always gets people killed and she never seems that remorseful about it. And she like remorses a little bit, but then she got her brother killed basically, in a way. Yeah, she got her brother killed. She basically crashed the car. She's getting her own family killed out here, you know what I mean? So Karen is a very hard to like character, but I'm gonna like her anyway. I mean, that's how she's written in the comics as well. She's always been a bit of a troublemaker, so it makes sense. So it's not like they've written her badly, that's just how she is. But then it's the fact that they're making you have to love her as well. So I don't know what is going on with Karen. I get it's weird. Kingpin, Vincent D'Onofrio. Oh my God, this guy is amazing as the Kingpin. Like Wilson Fisk, since season 1, a bit of season 2 and season 3, he makes the whole damn show. He is so good as the Kingpin that I would have to go up to Disney, Marvel Studios and slap Kevin Feige myself if he doesn't grab this guy and put him in a Spider-Man film as soon as possible. Like Vincent D'Onofrio, Kingpin was originally a Spider-Man bad guy in the comics and then he became a Daredevil bad guy, arch nemesis of Daredevil in the comics as well. But he was originally Spider-Man bad guy. And you know, if you've watched the 90s cartoons, you see Kingpin and you're wondering, why is he not a bad guy in any of the Spider-Man films yet? Not one Spider-Man film have we seen Kingpin. Kingpin forces Harry Osborn to do drugs in the comics, which makes Peter Parker really angry and upset. Such good storytelling for Kingpin. And Vincent D'Onofrio, could you imagine him in a Spider-Man movie? He would suddenly bring the seriousness level high. Like, so the only thing is, can Tom Holland work alongside Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin? I don't know. But anyway, I'm going off track now. Kingpin in Daredevil. Kingpin in Daredevil was amazing. He was manipulative. He was, every time he was on screen, you're just like completely like glued to the screen, just watching him talk, the way he just walks, the way he just controls everything around him, like, and then he has this same innocence around him. Like, he seems like just a big little boy that just wants to get his way, but at the same time he's so intelligent and scary. And sometimes I loved Kingpin so much, but he was doing so much evil by proxy of everybody else in this that it made me kind of be like, oh my God, I kind of want to kill this guy now. He was hurting the Deem's family. He was forcing people to, like, when the woman was, the agent lady that was above Nadeem was talking about how the Kingpin, like, she lost her daughter or her son or something like that. And I was just like, oh my God, man. Like, I was actually starting to hate Kingpin a little bit because, you know, when you love bad guys because they're just how good they are at being evil. And like Thanos, for example, everybody loves Thanos, everybody loves Killmonger. They're all really cool bad guys. Everybody loves Loki. And I love Kingpin as well. But I was actually starting to hate him because he was just getting a bit too evil for me. Like, he killed his henchmen for no reason. I was like, come on, man. Like, this guy needs to die, you know? But at the same time, I don't want him to die because then he won't be able to be in a Spider-Man film realistically in the canon. It doesn't make sense. Like, how's he in a Spider-Man film if he died in Daredevil? And it doesn't make sense that it happened before he died because he would have mentioned him in Daredevil one way or another. But yeah, Kingpin, Vincent D'Onofrio, absolutely ace character, ace acting, brilliant villain. Amazing. And of course, Matt Murdock, Charlie Cox as Daredevil. He was really good. The only thing I'd say is I wish, it's got nothing to do with Charlie Cox or his acting, but I just wish he was able to wear his red suit, like at one point in the film, maybe for the final battle. But I did enjoy like how Bullseye doubled for a Daredevil fake and the Daredevil costume doubled for his Bullseye costume in a way. That's how I saw it. They could have ripped the horns off or something, or painted it, sprayed it black or something like that, or sprayed a Bullseye logo in the center for the final fight or something. You know, just altered the suit to suit him. That would have been clever. But I kind of enjoyed how he doubled Bullseye's Daredevil's costume doubled for Bullseye's costume as well. And yeah, Daredevil's black suit is not bad, it's alright. But I wish he was wearing his classic suit at some point. Maybe an all red one for season 4 if it happens. Now, we've obviously heard about Luke Cage and Iron Fist being cancelled, and some people are speculating they're going to do a Heroes for Hire season and join those two up. Or some people are speculating that Disney is cancelling, or Netflix is cancelling the shows because Disney are going to start putting them on a streaming service. I don't know what's going on. What I've read so far is that they're just cancelling it because there's creative differences. That's what's come out so far. But yeah, what does this mean for the future of Netflix, Marvel Netflix? I don't know. I feel like after the reception and the views I feel like Daredevil season 3 is going to get, because everybody seems to be loving season 3, including me. I love season 3 of Daredevil. I think Daredevil's still going to go on. I don't think they'll cancel it anytime soon. I don't know about Jessica Jones though, but I know they won't cancel Daredevil. And I would absolutely love to see some more effort put in from the films section. I know Kevin Feige's got a bit of beef with, is it Jeff Loeb or whoever's in charge of Marvel TV, Marvel Netflix, but they need to come together somehow and have like people like Tony Stark. Can you imagine Tony Stark doing a business deal with Wilson Fisk or something crazy like that? Or could you imagine Spider-Man showing up, Tom Holland showing up in a Daredevil season 4 cameo? That would be so amazing. Or best yet, have Vincent D'Onofrio be the main villain of a Spider-Man movie. Do it, just do it, Marvel. Because, oh my God, you're missing out on so much wasted potential here. It could be so good. I just can't wait to see what the future of Marvel Netflix holds for Daredevil, because he's been consistently good. Season 1, 2, and 3, all good. Defenders was pretty rubbish, to be fair. I don't think I could watch Defenders again. Maybe I could, just to get some story in there. I didn't really focus that hard the first time. Maybe I'll like it better the second time. Iron Fist season 1 was okay. Luke Cage season 1 was pretty boring. Jessica Jones first half of season 2 was crap. Season 1 was good though, second half season 2 was good. Punisher was good pretty much all the way. It had a bit of a slow start, not as slow as Jessica Jones season 2, but Punisher was a really good show. So overall, Daredevil is obviously the best Marvel Netflix show because it's consistently good all the time. I still haven't watched Iron Fist season 2 yet, and I still haven't watched Luke Cage season 2 because I started watching Iron Fist season 2, I started watching Luke Cage season 2, and I just started to get really bored. I just couldn't be bothered anymore. I just kept waiting for references, waiting for Thanos to click people away. But then what I love about Daredevil, what I really love about Daredevil is that I wasn't waiting for references to the MCU, to the greater MCU. I wasn't waiting for Easter eggs. I was just enjoying the story. And that's all I ask for. Like, I shouldn't be watching Marvel Netflix just to get an insight on what's going on in the rest of the Marvel universe. I should be watching it because they're making an epic show with great characters and a great story. And yeah, I just hope this continues, this quality. And maybe you might have to get this right on every single one of their shows, because whoever wrote this or show run this was just brilliant. I don't know how they got this story to be so tight, to be so concise, to work within 13 episodes, but they need to do this for the other Marvel Netflix shows, and maybe cut them down to 10 episodes, because 13 is way too long for 1 or 2 bad guys. Anyway, oh yeah, and Bullseye at the end, obviously, he was getting the adamantium, or it was supposed to be adamantium metal, but Marvel haven't fully got the rights to adamantium yet. But I don't know why they didn't just use vibranium. They used some other thing called cognitive metal or some shit like that, I don't know. But yeah, Bullseye's obviously been hinted at for season 4. He had the little bullseye. People said that last shot was cheesy, but apparently in the comics he actually does have bullseye pupils because of the adamantium accelerating his powers somehow, and he can't feel no pain. So I'm looking forward to see a proper Daredevil versus Bullseye fight in season 4 with them in full costume. Be exciting. Anyway, that's my review of Daredevil Season 3. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it wasn't too long for you. If you liked it, please give me a like, subscribe, and I'll see you again. Peace.